Welcome back to the book of Chronicles, and um, we're back to it. And if you recall, the focus was on the descendants of the tribes of Israel. And in these chapters, we are reminded of the genealogy of Levi and his three sons. Remember them? Kohath, Gershom, well, in order, Gershom, Kohath, and Merari. And these are the tribes from which the Levites, the priests, emerged. So Amram was the son of Kohath, and his children were Aaron, Moses, and Miriam. So did you also notice while reading that this Kohathites tended to name themselves after themselves? There were some names that just kept, so I think, descendants had the same names. And some of these names were Amariah, Azariah, and Zadok, right? So I'm sure you would also have noticed how, the genealogy of Kohath came before Gershom, even though Gershom was first. But obviously, again, like I said, because the focus is on David as the king and tracing his genealogy, so the focus is on the genealogies that quote unquote matter. Elkanah was another name that was popular among the descendants of Kohath. There were quite a few people named Elkanah, and that was the name of Samuel's father. The emphasis on Levi and Judah is consistent with the focus on David's throne and the temple. Then we saw that details were also given of the temple musicians who were appointed by David, and other Levites were shown to be subordinates to the line of Aaron and put in charge, of the music in the house of the Lord after the ark rested there. It's here that we actually meet Asaph. So I saw the name Asaph. We're reading some of the Psalms of Asaph. So now we see who Asaph is, and he served along with Heman, the musician from the Kohathite tribe. Asaph is popular as a writer of some of the Psalms. And then finally, the dwelling place for the Levites throughout the promised land was listed. Remember that the Levites weren't given any land of their own. They weren't given any allotment, but they were scattered, throughout the tribes and throughout the lands donated by the other tribes. So just as a recap, we know that the Levites descended from the three sons of Levi, Gershom or Gershon, depending, Kohath, father of the Kohathites, and Merari. The chronicler listed the high priestly line, which is the Kohathite line, through David, through Aaron, and to Eleazar, because Kohath is the dominant tribe of Levi. There was a deliberate effort to establish a connection between the Levites and David. Aaron married the daughter of Aminadab from the tribe of Judah, which links both tribes. So because of that marriage, it links Judah and Levi. Also, Hebron in Judah was given to the Kohathites, the descendants of Aaron, and David settled there after after Saul's death, when he inquired of God and was like, where should I stay here or should I go forward? And the Lord asked him to go forward, and he went to Hebron. While all these list of names may appear tiresome at this point, it is important for when the Israelites return from exile. Spoiler alert, they do go to exile, but I'm sure that was obvious by now, so that each clan would know where to settle when they came back. So that was the main aim of this list of descendants, and like tracing, tribes and those kind of things. And as always, it's always difficult with like these chronicling chapters to find God. But here's where I saw God here. God's heart towards his people is characterized by restoration and redemption. His plan is always perfect. His plan for the Israelites was evident here, just by virtue of the last statement that I made. All that chronicling was to know where the tribes will eventually settle. So it was even though they would go to exile, they would still come back, and there was a plan in all of this. So God put all the things in place for specific times and seasons, and it all makes sense in the end. Don't ever forget that. Tomorrow we'll continue, go back to the Psalms, and I'll be sharing lessons from Psalms 81, 88, 92, and 93. See you here. Bye.